Golden Hawk's guildmaster, Lucius Neek, peers at the soon-to-be former member before him. According to their records, Loron Hill is unqualified to remain a guild member. So he's fired. Loron doesn't understand. Why is he being fired after the guildmaster exploited every little bit of his skill to recruit members? Loron has been contributing significantly to the guild using skill appraisal. But Lucius looks as if he doesn't even consider his ability as something noteworthy. Skills are miraculous abilities people are born with, which influence the profession people choose. People with battle-oriented abilities become adventurers, and those with alchemy skills become alchemists. Straightforward enough, no? Meanwhile, Loron has been using his skill appraisal to discover other guild members' hidden skills and help them improve. As a result, Golden Hawk has grown into a big guild with excellent members filling the roster that in the beginning, Lucius and Loron were very close friends. However, a gap between them grew after he discovered Lucius' hidden skill and helped him improve it. His friend obtained the skill, and he was able to improve it that he gained a powerful skill and rapidly stood out among adventurers. Loron has trouble socializing with people, so he's been supporting Lucius from behind and even letting him take all the credit. Of course, with that setup, he climbed to the guild's top fast, while Loron remained an ordinary guild member. Even so, he happily did everything for the guild and Lucius. And yet, what's the matter? You seem to have something to say. Loron flinches slightly from seeing his friend's cruel expression, but he remains firm, noting that Lucius saw his work for the guild. The guildmaster acts unaware of any work he's done. All these years, Loron's been recruiting members using skill appraisal and training them for the guild. But Lucius doesn't acknowledge that response. Instead, he explains that as an adventurer, Loron should know that achievements mean everything. The guildmaster hands a file to his assistant, Diane, asking her to read it out loud. It's Lawrence's record for the past month. 98th out of 100 members in the number of monsters defeated, 76th in items collected, and 86th in quests cleared. Loron slowly closes his mouth as Diane reports his rankings. When he finds his voice, he tries to defend himself, but Lucius doesn't give him the opportunity. As a veteran who joined the guild more than 5 years ago, this is all Loron can achieve. If everything were up to Lucius, he'd cover for him. But things have changed. The guildmaster needs to consider the whole guild. At least Lucius has a farewell gift for Loron that if he kept paying the skill appraiser despite his poor achievements, a poor example for other members, so he can take his money and get out. Loron shakes in anger. He's always been so the guild and Lucius until now. But this is all he gets in return. Now Loron sees he's been nothing but a fool. Without a word, the skill appraiser takes the bag before leaving. All the while, he can hear Lucius' cruel laugh. Loron will never forget about this. As the skill appraiser walks through town, he curses Lucius in his mind. He just doesn't understand why he had to be kicked out. Loron has done so much for the guild, and his awful adventurer record is the product of guildmaster's plot against him. Lucius would group him with people who were unsuitable for quests on purpose, that he'd then fail to provide their group with necessary items like potions during crucial situations. Despite all that, Loron gave his best in everything he'd done. But in the end, the person he trusted and supported without reservation discarded him without hesitations. Loron will never forgive Lucius. One day he'll defeat Lucius. Just wait. Even if Loron must start over, he'll climb to the top as an adventurer. Though uneasy, the skill appraiser enters the Adventurers Guild to acquire his first job as an independent adventurer after leaving Golden Hawk. He reminds himself to stay strong if he wants to teach Lucius a lesson one day. But as the skill appraiser walks nearer to the counter, he feels the atmosphere become heavier and heavier. Still, Loron puts on a big smile as he asks the receptionist if there's work for an appraiser. But the woman says they have no job, not a single one. The number of suitable quests for Loron is 0. He asks the receptionist to search again, and though she doesn't look like she did anything, the receptionist says she tried and found none. From behind, Loron hears other adventurers whisper about him, saying it's impossible to make a living in this town after getting kicked out of Golden Hawk. He gets it now. Lucius is behind all this. What the heck happened to this world? Everyone's minds are filled with Golden Hawk. That receptionist was so kind to Loron before, but now everyone locks him out. The friendships he thought he had all collapsed overnight. As Loron walks around town, his feet become sore, making him too weary to continue that he can only see a dark reality no matter how much he tries. Laurent is so lost in thought that he doesn't notice the man he bumps into. Before the man can confront the idiot, his friend stops him that it's better to leave that guy alone. Nothing good will come from becoming involved with a person with that kind of face. Laurent somehow finds himself at a park and rests on a bench. Even though he's tired, he's still trying. He's trying to find a way out. Even if the skill appraiser tries to regain what he lost, he just knows they'll all slide through his fingers. Everything about Laurent is denied. Everything has been taken away from him. Everything's lost. As negative thoughts flood Laurent's mind, someone calls out to him. A voice emits the suffocating darkness. It's Lillian Lucier, an adventurer from the Guardians of the Magic Tree. They haven't met since the last quest they did together. Lillian's grateful for him discovering her hidden skill, floating, greatly improving her magic's accuracy. Now she's risen to the top. Rank A. Laurent congratulates the sorceress, but just one look at his downcast expression tells Lillian something's wrong. If the skill appraiser doesn't mind, she wants to know what happened. Hearing Laurent's been kicked out makes the sorceress so furious and confused that she almost faints. Lillian apologizes for making the skill appraiser worry. To understand what happened, she invites Laurent to a nearby cafe. But even if the sorceress asks for the skill appraiser to tell her about the situation, he's not sure how it happened himself. Laurent understands he's limited as an adventurer, because his sole ability is skill appraisal. Though being kicked out of the guild still feels unwarranted. While it's true that the skill appraiser is unsuitable for battle, Lillian knows he's made great advances for the guild using his skill. He's developed countless talented members using skill appraisal. The sorceress always thought that as long Laurent was there, Guardians of the Magic Tree could never compare to Golden Hawk. But they kicked him out. What was Lucius thinking? Laurent thought the guild understood like the sorceress. But he certainly didn't know Laurent could be able to say so. Seeing her as if she was the Nuru Poolshine of death, becoming sad for his sake makes him forget his sorrows. After all, Lillian reminded him, Golden Hawk isn't the only guild in the world. Let's create a new guild. Okay, Laurent wasn't thinking that far ahead. The sorceress smiles, suggesting they create an alchemy guild. The Guardians of the Magic Tree currently have increased demands for earthcraft, the mineral used for weapon repair. However, the guilds that can produce it prioritize Golden Hawk's orders. Lillian's guild can't outplay Golden Hawk with this condition. They need a guild that Lucius's guild won't influence, that's the only way Guardians of the Magic Tree can improve as a guild. With Laurent's ability, he can discover and train people with alchemy skills. If the skill appraiser works on this, he'll one day have a better guild than Golden Hawk. Training people and being a leader are very different jobs. Lillian can imagine Laurent's uneasiness about the idea, but if it's him, Sorceress believes he can do it. The skill appraiser can create a guild that's better than Golden Hawk. Laurent contemplates Lillian's words. Can he do it? Or will he ultimately fail and break the sorceress's hope and trust? After a moment of silence and a heavy sigh, Laurent responds. He'll do it. He'll create a guild that stands out from the others. That's what she expects from the person she admires. Now that's decided, they can eat. And to celebrate Laurent's newfound goal, the sorceress will pay for their meal. After they eat, Lillian immediately stands and takes the skill appraiser by the hand. There's no time to lose. They'll create the guild today and announce the opening tomorrow. Later that day, Laurent finds himself at the guild application office. The officer reviews their form before approving the establishment of an alchemy guild. Looking to the eye, he can't believe they created a guild within a day. And he has Lillian to thank for everything. Spirit Arsenal. The sorceress thinks it's a great name. They'll make Spirit Arsenal the best alchemy guild in town. And first on the agenda is recruiting some members. From what Laurent knows, they must find some refiners, then a workshop manager, and silversmiths. That's a lot, and he thinks they can't get that many people. But the skill appraiser doesn't need to worry. Lillian will give him her full support. And that she does. The next day, Laurent's flooded with the constant stream of applicants. All thanks to the sorceress's recommendation. However, after doing so many interviews, he still hasn't found suitable members. It's irritating the skill appraiser not to have made any progress, even after the sorceress has done so much for him. But Laurent can't give up. He must find someone talented. Though after interviewing so many people, he finally realizes that's not easy to do. This applicant isn't suitable either. Isn't this just a complete waste of time? Laurent just hopes the next person will be that talented someone he's been searching for. As the door opens and closes, Eri comes in, stating she's applying for the silversmith position. The skill appraiser gets to work and checks her status. And what he sees stuns him. Eri's or refining skill has the potential to become an A-rank ability. She has first-class talent, but she says she's applying for the silversmith position since it's her previous job. If Loran can make a suggestion, she'll be able to help him out. He'd like Eri to consider becoming a refiner. The applicant takes a moment to reply. Ultimately, as long as she'll be hired, Eri is willing to do any job. With that, Loran concludes the interview and thanks the applicant for coming. All the while, Eri can't help but wonder if she'll fail again. Ever since her last guild fired her, Eri's done so many interviews, but failed every time. Spirit Arsenal is her last hope, but she'd rather not get her hopes too high after many failures. Eri receives a letter the next day, and its contents make her beam. She was considering giving up if she failed the interview. Eri could never have imagined she'd be hired by this new guild supported by the big guild, Guardians of the Magic Tree. Finally, she can continue to work in an alchemy workshop. Eri ecstatically greets the skill appraiser, and Loran returns her enthusiasm. But it surprises the refiner to know she's the only one who got hired. Perhaps Eri should tell her new boss she can't do or refining well after all. It's either that or a risk getting scolded like before. In the end, Eri couldn't bring herself to come clean. Loran notices the refiner's uneasiness, but doesn't pry when she says it's nothing. Instead, he shows her the workshop. Everything here is for her, and Eri can't but marvel at how everything's well prepared. But now it's time for the refiner to get to work, if only she can stop shivering. Eri picks up an iron ore and throws it into the furnace. Next, she just needs to adjust the temperature of the heat, but the iron's heating up too fast because of her nervousness. Throughout it all, Eri can't help but think she's unfit to be a refiner, but the least she can do is try her best. A moment passes, and Eri's done with her first batch. She burnt 9 blocks of rank E iron and only made 1 block of rank D iron. The refiner apologizes for her shabby job. Silence makes Eri wonder if she'll be fired, but she never expected Loran to praise her work. The skill appraiser genuinely believes Eri is talented. She managed to make the first block of rank D iron so fast. Now he's really glad he hired her. Shocked at being praised after a long while of only being scolded, Eri struggles to respond. She grabs the broom to clean up before starting with the next batch of ore, but Loran tells her not to worry. She can leave all the chores to him. Yes, Loran is the guild master, but the only thing he needs his refiner to do is to learn how to make good use of her talent, and if she needs anything, just let the skill appraiser know. Eri never imagined she'd get to concentrate on refining like this, that it's as if she's a professional. As a couple of days pass, Eri continues to on or refining, with Loran supporting her. But if she's done it all the while, then it finally happens. The refiner has created a block of C-rank iron. Eri beams as she holds the block in her hand. It's a piece they can sell, and she did this all thanks to the guild master, allowing her to focus on her work. From now on, Eri won't just waste materials. Excited about her progress, the refiner runs to Lawrence's office to show him the rank C block. But instead of selling it, the guild master has something else in mind. The rank C iron is included in the process of what he wants. But he didn't hire the refiner just to see rank blocks and sell them for a small amount. Loran needs Eri to refine rank A metals from all these blocks. This shocks the refiner. That's a difficult task, even for an A-rank refiner. Even if the guildmaster says he believes in her, Eri knows it's impossible. Instead of arguing with the refiner, Loran stands from his desk and gently guides Eri to return to the workshop. They have refining work to do. The skill appraiser feels sorry for pressuring the girl, but he knows she has a lot of room for improvement. That it took Eri such a short time to upgrade her or refining to rank C. She'll need to work harder than before to transmute all those ores into rank A metals. But Lawrence's not worried. Eri's so close. Her ore refining is almost a rank. The skill appraiser can do nothing but watch over her. He wants to bet on the refiner's talent and determined efforts that Eri refines the ore in her hand. She can't help but feel that until a while ago, Lawrence's presence made her feel calm. Perhaps this sudden uneasiness is the product of her fear that one day the person supporting her will leave. Still, Eri won't be swallowed by her fear. She doesn't want to lose this job. She wants to be helpful to Loran, who has hope in her. With those thoughts fueling her every move, Aries determined to turn all the iron blocks into rank A1s. Then she'll become an A-rank refiner. It's day 1, and Aries has difficulty making the ores into good shape. But by day 3, she's going to be a refiner that Aries beginning to adapt to the life of a refiner. A week later, Aries wasted countless ores. She struck the iron so many times that her hands hurt, but the refiner's hard work has paid off. With Lauron by her side, Aries marvels at her latest creation. It's an A-rank iron block. Tears pool in the refiner's eyes as she thanks the guildmaster, but Lauron believes there's no need for thanks. After all, he only provided a space for Aries to awaken the talent inside her. The rest was the result of her hard work and perseverance. Well done. Aries' tears finally cascade as she hears those words of praise, but Lauron should be the one thanking her. With her diligence, the refiner position is set. He can now focus on hiring silversmiths and a manager. Only then can Lauron hope to make Spirit Arsenal the best guild in town. 1 month after establishing Spirit Arsenal, the rate of product manufacturing has increased. Having to worry about such things is very encouraging for Lauron. As Lillian arrives to visit the guild, she can see how the Spirit Skill Appraiser is doing much better. It's certainly a far cry from his gloomy state weeks ago. Before the sorceress and the Skill Appraiser can catch up, Aries arrives with an earthcraft in hand that she's shocked upon seeing the adventurer. Lauron wastes no time formally introducing the refiner before asking her to show Lillian what she has. The sorceress marvels at the magnificent earthcraft, but that's not all Aries made. The refiner crafted every product stored in the guild. Despite her amazing work, Aries shyly states she simply followed Lawrence's work. The refiner is not the only one who has been able to make such an excellent product, but Lillian prefers to give the girl the recognition she deserves that it's impossible to make such an excellent product if following orders was all Aries did. Smiling gently at the refiner, the sorceress promises she and the guardians of the magic tree will do their best to match her efforts. Their next dungeon conquest will certainly be a success. From how Aries beams at Lillian, Lawrence certain she'll be more confident. The sorceress's approval means a lot to the refiner after all. So that's why the Spirit Appraiser is so confident in the refiner. The Skill Appraiser asks Lillian to come over. It seems her worries were unnecessary. Before the sorceress leaves, she commends Lawrence's efforts that she's not surprised by how he nurtured Aries' talents so well. But just like the refiner, the Skill Appraiser has difficulty accepting compliments. With that, Lillian says her goodbyes. She'd love to stay with Lauron longer, but duty calls. The sorceress will surely tell him the result of their next dungeon conquest. Meanwhile, servants line up at the Golden Hawk's Hall to welcome her. Lillian is greeted by the armor knight, Lady Jill Irwin. Though she appears calm and collected on the surface, the elegant woman wonders why the guildmaster made such a rule. Jill is not the kind of person who enjoys this over-the-top greeting. This special treatment reminds the armor knight of how she gained this position and her abilities. Thanks to Lauron, that he discovered Jill had the potential to become an armor knight. At first, she doubted him. How could Jill become anything like that when she didn't have enough stamina to wear heavy armor? But Lauron wasn't deterred by the girl's hesitations. But he knew they could build up her stamina through strict training. Under his guidance, Jill underwent stamina and muscle training for an armor knight. They also trained in melee combat, something she wasn't particularly good at. Lauron made sure to hone Jill's offensive and defensive skills intensely. After training for a long time, the trainee thought she was ready to become a tank. But he reiterated he wanted her to become a DPS armor knight. Jill was crushed. She just finished learning how to move around with a shield. Lauron sensed her disappointment and swiftly encouraged her that he believed she could do it, even if Jill didn't believe in herself. After that training, Lauron brought his trainee to the armory reserved for high-ranking members, and behind those doors was a weapon made especially for Jill. She looked at it in shock, knowing a member of her rank wasn't qualified to receive such a blade. How could the guild even spare money for this? But Jill soon understood that Lauron had arranged for this weapon himself. This, in his words, made her realize that he absolutely believed in her, and that unwavering support from Lauron pushed Jill to become the first-class armor knight he'd imagined. Then came the time for the trainee to go to the dungeon to practice with her fellow rookies. Their leader alerted them to get ready for an incoming enemy, but none of them expected they'd face an enormous stone golem. Just a single blow told them the monster was insanely powerful. The party leader called for everyone to retreat, but Jill didn't listen. She struggled through painful training for this moment. Besides, the golem was made of stone. She knew there'd be no reason she couldn't cut it into pieces. Jill leaped high with all her might, bringing down her blade on the first golem. Then on the second and the third, the armor knight defeated the one cut each. As a result of her training, Jill became the first ever newbie to take down 3 golems in her first battle, and all she could think of was whether Laurent would praise her. However, Jill was summoned by the guild master as soon as she returned. Though the armor knight believed she had more training, Lucius disagreed, and was already considering assigning her more difficult quests. After multiple tasks, one after the other, Jill has finally returned. Thanks to Laurent, she didn't end up spending her entire life as an ordinary archer. She can't wait to see him after so long. But upon opening the door to the skill appraiser's room, Jill only finds a stranger. The guild servant informs her that Laurent has been banished from Golden Hawk. The armor knight immediately rushes to Lucius's office. She can't understand why Laurent would be banished, but she says it was a misunderstanding. Upon hearing Laurent's name, Lucius's expression sour. The man he banished is now working with a sorceress from Guardians of the Magic Tree. From what he knows, they became close since the quest they did together. Laurent helped the sorceress nurture her skills and became very loyal to her. It pains Lucius to believe he'd easily forget the favors he obtained from Golden Hawk and bend over to the competing guild. After hearing all the details, Jill doesn't bother to respond. She knows there must be a better reason behind all this. Whatever's happening, the armor knight swears she'll save Laurent. As he's alerted of an approaching malignity of goblins, the party's captain calmly orders the members to clear the monsters with a long-range attack done on his mark. The archer and sorcerer strike the enemies clean. Easy peasy. When Lucius assigned Marco this task, he wondered what would happen. But isn't this dungeon conquest a walk in the park? Well, that's to be expected. With their up-to-date gear and strong deserving warriors led by the intelligent Marco, aka Golden Hawk's lethal weapon, he'll make this large-scale dungeon conquest a success. As the guild scouts reach the deepest part of the dungeon, the party hurries forward to their location. Marco quirks an eyebrow at the sight awaiting him. Rows upon rows of coffins line the cavern, making the captain wonder if this is what a large dungeon is about. Marco's face is twisted in frustration, while another stares at the contents of an open coffin. These are all skeletons. Not bothering to respond to the shaken guild member, the captain lets him take a break while he thinks of a plan. With their worn weapons, they won't have enough earthcraft to support the fight against that many enemies. Not to mention the team's already tired that if Marco fails this conquest, Lucius will certainly fire him. The guild member from before approaches the brooding captain with a report, but now's not a good time to talk to the irritated man. Marco realizes it'll be impossible to succeed against the horde of skeletons, that a suicide attack could be an option. But that's a stupid move. With all things considered, the captain orders his men to retreat. They'll take the information back to the guild, that's the least they can do. But the lowly guild member dares to question Marco's orders. Does he think he knows better than the captain? Though the guild member received an earful, he stood his ground. After all, another man is here to conquer the dungeon. Well, that's news to Marco. Why didn't this guy say that earlier? He tried to, but you were too pissy to hear the report. And pray tell, who is this force that dares to challenge the party from the Golden Hawk Guild? The guild member doesn't dare to look their captain in the eyes as he says, "It's the Guardians of the Magic Tree's main force led by Lillian." Marco falls silent before he bursts out laughing that he retracts his order from earlier. They can't pass up this beneficial situation. While the other guild's captain is busy monologuing, the Guardians of the Magic Tree's main force begins their coordinated attack. The tank serves as the vanguard, receiving the first few hits from the undead with his shield. A dual-wielding swordsman closely follows him. As the tank bashes the enemy away, he readies his shield to fling the swordsman farther into the skeleton army's lineup that he lands gracefully, slicing the undead neatly in half. And before its comrade can strike him from behind, the party's archer deals a powerful blow to the undead. The archer deals a headshot that he'll cover for the swordsman, so he can whack away at the skeletons to his heart's content. Oh, the lower guild is beginning their attack. If Marco sees that, why aren't they hurrying to beat them to the punch? The captain asks the guild member to look carefully at the Magic Tree's damaged weapons. Golden Hawk has monopolized all the earthcraft in for weapon repair. If these inferior adventurers can't repair their weapons, They can't defeat such a large number of monsters. Marco and his men must wait for Magic Tree's main force to destroy their weapons completely, and that won't take long, so he orders the team to prepare for battle. They'll strike after the fireworks. Lillian holds her magic staff high as she prepares to cast an offensive spell with a massive AoE. Multiple magic circles surround her, signaling her comrades that she's about to strike. Break. A massive thunderbolt strikes the cavern's ground, the explosion leaving a crater the size of an asteroid. But Marco knows the sorceress can't use her magic continuously. This is their chance to steal the victory and offer it to their guild master. However, the lower guild does something Marco never expected. The archer, tank, and swordsman repair their weapons with earthcraft. But how on earth did they get that? This isn't good. Marco knows that if this goes on, it's game over. Goldenhawk's party rushes to stop Magic Tree from conquering the dungeon, but Lillian won't let them steal the victory that's rightfully theirs. Instead of taking a break, the sorceress gears up for another round of her AoE Thunderbolt spell. This is it. Lillian will deliver the final blow. Blood drains from Marco's face as he watches the sorceress's spell clear the remaining undead. It pushed Lillian to her limit, but it's done. She can tell Laurent that they conquered the dungeon. They even have this precious material as proof. After the disastrous dungeon conquest, Marco delivers his report to the guild master. So you just stood there and watched our enemy conquer the dungeon? Lucius' gaze is steady and menacing, so much so that Marco can't help but shiver that he tries to defend himself. After all, it's not his fault. It's all because Magic Tree somehow got their hands on Earthcraft, that if it weren't for that, Marco's deductions were flawless. But that excuse won't fly with Lucius. He can't believe this shameless elite member. Marco lowers his head in apology. The guild master demotes him and tells him to get lost. Lucius asks Diane if they have a replacement ready for that elite member. The secretary suggests Jill for the part. But knowing she's the girl who improved because of Laurent, Lucius deems her unready. In any case, they have other things to worry about. Despite Marco's failure, he's right that it's strange for Magic Tree to have gotten a supply of Earthcraft. Goldenhawk has monopolized all the Earthcraft in this town, so others can't acquire it. That leads Diane to conclude there must be a traitor among the guilds. Lucius bangs his fist on his desk that he orders Diane to summon the representatives of each guild. Just wait. He'll uncover the traitor and crush them. Meanwhile, at Spirit Arsenal, Eri rushes to Laurent's office after she hears a loud noise. But he tells her everything's fine. He just dropped a cup of tea. Eri begs to disagree. Everything's not fine. Laurent has been overworking himself for the past few days that on top of the work he must do, he must also train the 4 new hires. Not to mention Laurent still conducting interviews. With Eri volunteering to clean up the broken teacup, Laurent rushes to the interview room that he knows Eri is right. His workload is becoming too heavy. Laurent must find someone with the workshop management skill fast before he reaches his limit. He opens the door. His heart is full of hope. He sits down to face the interviewee, who introduces himself as Lang Riles, is an applicant for the mineral mining job. Just one glance and Laurent can tell this guy knows himself well. His mineral mining skill is first-rate, but he can shine even brighter with just a bit of polishing. Without a doubt, Laurent has come across a first-class gemstone. Lang is a master of the field, and he knows exactly the person Spirit Arsenal needs. Knowing this, Laurent doesn't beat around the bush. The guild would be happy to have him on board. On one condition, he wants him to work on workshop management. Doubt and hesitation spread on Lang's gentle features, but Laurent tells him not to worry. He'll be given full support so his talent can shine brightly. Lang admits he lacks confidence as he has never worked in management before. But if the guild master insists, he'll be looking forward to working in the guild. Laurent wastes no time immediately training the new hire, beginning with explaining how management works. For that, Lang must know how to use a magical accounting book, and the best way to learn is through practice. Laurent gives the new hire a pen and instructs him to write his name on the book. Lang does as he's told. The accounting book glows and numbers float. This item can calculate expenses automatically, as long as the user has the workshop management skill. By organizing the data, the number will be reduced. Laurent guides Lang to another part of the building. He asks if he knows why the number's reduced. He answers correctly. By making the data brief, they eliminated waste, and that will be Lang's job as the workshop manager. Reduce the workshop's cost by eliminating waste. Before doubt can creep in, the new member of Spirit Arsenal declares he'll do his best. Whenever he eliminates waste, the guild's expenses keep decreasing, and the satisfaction Lang feels tells him he's suitable for this job. The next morning, Lillian invites Laurent out for tea. Thanks to him, the Guardians of the Magic Tree's main force won the dungeon conquest from Golden Hawk. As a result of that victory, the guild achieved first place in the number of monsters defeated category. Laurent is thrilled to hear that, but more importantly, he heard a new mine was discovered. If Lillian doesn't mind, he'd like to use their guild's ores. That's perfect for the sorceress, since she's been meaning to order some gear from Spirit Arsenal. Instead of excitement, hesitation crosses Laurent's face. Their guild doesn't have enough money to produce gear, because the bank refused to provide him with a loan. However, they said Spirit Arsenal could get the 50 million gold loan if their profit ratio increased by 5%. Laurent is aware that much of an increase will be challenging, but Spirit Arsenal will achieve it and deliver the gear Lillian needs. Later that day, Ares, surprised as a frantic Lang accidentally bumps into her. Laurent helps her, explaining how their workshop manager is in a rush because this month's quota is very harsh. Tio watch over the guy. As Lang arrives at the workshop, he can't think of anything but increasing the profit ratio. So far, they've only achieved a 2% increase. That's not enough. In his desire to increase profits via a fast-paced environment, Lang pushes the workers and their tools to the limit. Only then will they complete the tasks at hand. But he failed to foresee the consequence of using cracked magic items and damaged hammers. Ultimately, Lang calls for everyone to stop working. And as Laurent approaches, he can only apologize for his mistakes. Laurent wonders if Lang has been prioritizing safety, but how can Lang do that when they need to hurry and meet the profit ratio increase? Laurent's voice is gentle as he addresses Lang. He doesn't need to achieve the 5% goal. Lang's great talent is growing daily, and all Laurent asks is for him to be patient and believe in himself. Eyes widening in realization, the man excuses himself after hearing Laurent's encouragement. He knows what to do now, and this time he won't make mistakes. As Ares approaches, Laurent tells her not to worry about Lang, that he's sure the manager understands his hints, and that he does. Lang instructs the workers as though talking to himself. Don't rush, be patient. Though taking a slower pace may seem counterintuitive, Lang sees the desired results in the magic accounting book. They may seem like they're working slower, but they're progressing fast. And if that's the case, Lang will check every nook and cranny to ensure the work is going well. As Lang finally grasps the key to working efficiently, his eyes begin seeing things that weren't there before. Numbers are floating around the workshop, just like in the accounting book. This must result from Lang's workshop management skill ranking up. His sight is so advanced that he can see and prevent a workplace injury before it can happen. Days pass without a single occupational accident occurring, and it's all thanks to Lang's understanding of the importance of safety. With that, it doesn't take long for him to increase the profit ratio by 5%. Now they can acquire the loan and produce the gear for Guardians of the Magic Tree. Before that, Spirit Arsenal will need ores. Laurent provides Lang with a dungeon pass to acquire what they need. And with the guy's first-rate mineral mining skill, the guild master doesn't doubt this task will be a breeze for him. Things are going well for Laurent and Spirit Arsenal, at least until he hears they have a guest, Diane of Golden Hawk. What a barren workshop. Diane sits with her legs crossed as she disdainfully eyes Spirit Arsenal's interiors. When Laurent asks what her business at the guild is, she glares at him. What's with this guy's attitude? Has he forgotten his position? Lang enters the guildmaster's office before his guest can make him any more uncomfortable than he already is. The workshop manager has the courtesy to serve Diane a cup of tea, and what does she say? The tea looks so cheap. You can't blame Lang for thinking how arrogant this woman is, nor can he blame himself for talking to her bluntly. After all, Lang can't help but wonder what business brought one of the Golden Hawk's elite members to their modest workshop. Karen here raises her eyebrows at the manager. Why is everyone talking to her with such awful attitudes? Don't they know Diane's here to kindly save their guild? And by that, she means she'll offer Spirit Arsenal the chance to become Golden Hawk's subsidiary. Shock is written all over Lang's face. But when he hears the arrogant woman belittle their guild's workshop, he stands angrily. Lang has heard enough. But surely Laurent understands Diane's proposition. Only a fool would pass it up. With kindness in his eyes, the guild master says he'll consider the offer depending on the condition. A wry smile graces Diane's lips. She wants Spirit Arsenal to sell them A-rank iron for 100 gold each. Only then can they become Goldenhawk's subsidiary. It's not a bad deal for you, is it? Diane says that with a big, mirthless grin, even though she knows that 100 gold is unreasonable for something worth 300. What she didn't expect is for Laurent to accept the condition gratefully. Did I he a fool? Diane guesses she wasn't obvious enough, so she'll say it to Laurent's face. She came here to mock him. How dare he not be offended by her antics? Seriously, though, what's this lady's damage? Is this what being Lucius' secretary does to a person? After rage quitting, Diane angrily stomps through town. Why would that fool accept her condition when it's impossible to sell A-rank iron for 100 gold each? How would he earn a profit? This line of questioning leads Diane to conclude that Laurent must be Lillian's lover. The kept man and his sugar mommy. What a disgusting pair. Again, what is this woman's damage? Meanwhile, in a mansion drenched in luxury, Count Elson has summoned Lucius for an important matter. The Count's daughter will get married soon, so he wants to prepare silverware as her dowry. Elson knows many alchemy guilds are working under Lucius, with him having the largest number of splendid alchemists. As such, the Count invites Goldenhawk's guildmaster to the silverware fair he'll be hosting. After this, Elson plans to hold the fair regularly and make it a specialty of their town. Having Lucius' subsidiary guild participate in a competition will enliven the event. Elson's sure it'll be a wonderful occasion, with alchemists gathering regardless of their origins and positions. They'll compete on equal footing, with only their skills carrying importance. The creation of the first champion in the silverware fair will become the dowry of the Count's daughter. Is there no better prize than this great honor? Of course, the prize money will also be quite a fortune. So what does Lucius say? I will win the competition, that's the spirit. Elson assumed the guildmaster would say that. Now for a toast, a celebratory drink in advance. Lucius humbly accepts the wine with a charming smile, though he's cursing the prodigal nobleman on the inside. He'll just play along since this will be a good chance to display his prowess. Without a doubt, Goldenhawk will produce the best silverware. While Lucius is getting on the nobleman's good graces, Laurent is at the quest reception office for the first time in a while. The receptionist jumps in surprise upon hearing his voice. Lillian did say she'd do something about the receptionist after last time, but what did the sorceress do exactly? In any case, Laurent states his business, that he's looking for 5 individuals with the mineral mining skill above B rank and 5 with the item storage skill above C rank. The receptionist asks him to wait a moment while she searches through a book, but when her search comes out lacking, she gulps before apologizing profusely. No one with a mineral mining skill is available. Surprised by the receptionist's behavior, Laurent asks her to raise her head. After their previous interaction, the receptionist regretted how she treated him. But it's fine, Laurent sees it as water under the bridge, so chin up, Miss Receptionist. Before the guildmaster leaves, he asks the receptionist to send his request to the 5 individuals with the item storage skill and contact him when she finds someone with the mineral mining skill. Laurent knew finding a freelancer with an above B rank mineral mining skill would be rare. So for now, all he can do is wait. As night has fallen, Laurent drops by a tavern to have dinner. After the waitress takes his order, a familiar face approaches him. It's Zenth, the manager of a refinery guild that, if he remembers correctly, the last time he saw Laurent was at a meeting in Goldenhawk. After such a long time, Zenth guesses he must have become an elite member now and achieved many great things. To the manager's surprise, Laurent says he's been kicked out of Goldenhawk, but there's no need to worry about him. The skill appraiser is doing great now. At least with Laurent out of Goldenhawk, Zenth can rant about something bothering him. The manager slams his fists on the table. Working with Lucius has been unbearable. He assigned other work to the refiners while demanding their guild deliver a rank iron at 200 gold each. Moreover, Lucius ordered all capable alchemists in his subsidiary guilds to produce the finest silverware. A great lord is searching for the perfect item to serve as the dowry for his daughter's marriage. To do so, he's hosting a silverware fair. But with Zentha's refiners gone and his guild being required to undersell a rank iron, he's at a loss on how he can run his business moving forward. If that's the situation, allow Laurent's guild to produce the iron. He's willing to sell a rank iron for 100 gold each. In return, can Zenth loan Spirit Arsenal 5 employees with the mineral mining skill above B rank? The guild manager gladly accepts Lawrence. It's a deal that will benefit them both, after all. Though Zenth wonders if there's a bigger reason behind this agreement, he opens his doors to Loran. He'll help in any way he can if need be. After a few glasses of celebratory liquor, Spirit Arsenal's guildmaster unsteadily walks through town. He's drunk too much, but at least he finally secured manpower. To Lawrence's right, he sees a cloaked little girl selling flowers when a man suddenly pushes her away, her back slamming into a wall. Like, what the heck, man? The girl wasn't obstructing your way at all. As Loran rushes to help, the girl removes her hood, revealing her pointed ears. He picks up all the scattered flowers, and the girl thanks him by giving him one for free that I in return for the flower. Loran asks if she'd like him to appraise her talent. The girl shyly accepts his offer, standing still as he works his skill appraiser magic. Loran wishes for the kind girl to have the best results, but he never expected something like this. Who is this kid? The elven girl's status reveals she has S-rank potential, but her skills all fall under alchemy, an area in which S ranks almost exclusively exist in dwarves, the elves' enemies. This girl shouldn't be capable of learning these skills, yet here they are. Before Loran can ask any questions, the elven girl's mother arrives. She introduces herself as Sills and her child as Kyle. Loran does the same, saying he's an appraiser of an alchemy guild. Before excitedly sharing his discovery regarding Kyle's alchemy skills, Sills listens earnestly, impressed by how this man can obtain appraisal results in such great detail. If Loran has any advice for them, she'd like to talk to him more, but they'd better head somewhere more convenient to discuss matters. Sills invites the skill appraiser to their home, wondering where to begin regarding her daughter's skills. Kyle once lived in a dwarf's cave, which surprises Loran, considering dwarves are enemies of their race. That hostility is exactly why Sills' daughter came to learn alchemy. Not long ago, a small fight between a group of elves and dwarves broke into a war that grew more serious by the day. So much blood was spilled. One day, a dwarf captured Kyle, treating her as their prisoner and forcing her to do alchemy work that is such. The skills Sills' daughter possesses are those she was forced to learn because of war. That's why she and her think Kyle's abilities are detestable. Even so, their kid fell in love with alchemy. What should Sills think of this scar of war? She still has no idea. As Lawrence, an expert who often deals with skills, she turns to him for advice. The skill appraiser closes his eyes in contemplation before answering. Would you be willing to change your way of thinking? Instead of considering Kyle's skill as a scar of war, why not consider it a great treasure? Fury flashes across Sills' delicate features, but Loran continues his explanation. Her daughter indeed obtained her abilities due to a dark past, but there's a light hidden in her gift that can dispel that darkness. And that's because Kyle has the potential to become an S-rank alchemist. Loran stands and lowers his head that it'd be a pity to waste such a great talent. So he begs them to entrust this great gift to him and the guild. Loran promises to take care of Kyle. Though Sills seems to consider the proposition, the elven girl's father, Izua, objects. He won't let this man hire his daughter, no matter how much he begs. Loran already heard Kyle's situation, didn't he? That rare gift he's talking about is nothing but the work of those cave dwellers. How can Loran ask Izua's little girl to do the same work as the dwarves who put her through so much pain? Their family wants to forget about their difficult times apart from their daughter, so they'd appreciate it if Loran left them alone. The next day, the skill appraiser walks through town defeated. His mind is still filled with the events of the previous night. Does he have to give up on such a genius? Is there nothing he can do about it? It's also Kyle's wish to put her great talent to use. Loran curses that it pains him to be unable to help the girl who has great talent and enthusiasm, a father who can't forget the scar of war, and a daughter who sought out the ray of light amidst the darkness she was thrown into. Their views are completely different. What can Loran do about that? Before the skill appraiser can find his answers, Lillian arrives concerned about the man's gloomy disposition. She'd love to hear what's troubling him, but Loran dismisses it as nothing. Besides, they're here to talk about business. The sorceress and the skill appraiser's agenda for today is the weapon order. Spirit Arsenal finally has the budget and manpower to handle Lillian's request, but she has to admit that it'll be a difficult commission. Loran reviews the specifics for the amount of gear required by the guardians of the magic tree. It's a lot. Not to mention, Lillian will need it all 1 week from now. Doubt starts to creep into Lauren's heart. Will Spirit Arsenal make everything in time? Tightening her clasped hands, Lillian says she understands her request is unreasonable. But if the guild doesn't prepare enough gear, they'll have trouble during the conquest. Sure, they can complete the conquest just fine. However, their current gear won't be enough to protect their loot. All the preparation Lillian's arranging is needed to surpass Golden Hawk finally. And that's motivation enough for Laurent. He'll get started on the weapon order right this instant. Linga greets the guildmaster cheerfully when he arrives. Everyone's been waiting for him. All the workers are here. 30 recently joined their ranks. The weapon order must be a big commission to require this many workers here all at once. But whatever Laurent needs, Linga has his back. The guildmaster smiles fondly at the workshop manager. Linga certainly has become a reliable man, and he's certain Kyle can also become great, given the chance. But Laurent can't dwell on what's lost too much that he must focus on the work before his eyes. The guildmaster stands proudly as he speaks to the workers. He knows being suddenly assigned such a big job might make them uneasy, but Laurent promises Spirit Arsenal will give them all the support they need. This will be an extremely difficult task. However, he believes they can complete it. Aha, classic Laurent and his motivational speaker skills. You can do it. Never give up. Matsuoka Shuzo would be proud. Never back down. Never what? The guildmaster's words work like a charm that everyone's all geared up to get this weapon order done. Asking for Linga's assistance, Laurent divides the workers into small groups. One man is assigned to do molding work while his partner will work on details after. This way, they can compensate for each other's weaknesses. The same goes for everyone else. Laurent puts his skill appraiser ability to good use, identifying workers who best suit one another. Yes, he does, Linga observes in awe. All these people only met a few hours ago, yet Laurent managed to have them all work in harmony. Thanks to the skill appraiser's diligence in setting up teams, the workers are going through their tasks fast that they've become a well-oiled machine in such a short time. At this pace, Linga has no doubt they'll finish the large order. Days go by with the workshop bustling with life, that everyone's focused on getting the job done until finally the weapon order is finished. Laurent thanks the workers for the job well done, though I doubt anyone can hear him when they're exhausted and slumped on the soon. The carriage filled with weapons is ready. Just wait, Lillian. Spirit Arsenal will deliver everything all at once. At the town plaza, members of the Golden Hawk cheer on their departing comrades for the dungeon conquest. One member notices the sorceress standing by and doesn't hesitate to snide her. Good luck, no weapon guild. Lillian tries her best to control herself. It's a waste to let herself be angered by that fool. And in any case, the only thing she can do is trust Laurent and Spirit Arsenal. She believes they can do it. Laurent and Linga finally arrive at the scene, making the sorceress beam. The guild master apologizes for making her wait. But here it is, as promised. The adventurers marvel at Magic Tree's new weapons, an entire carriage filled with shields, swords, staffs, and more. Lillian rushes to thank Laurent for making it in time, that she'll surely repay the favor someday. But the skill appraiser tells the sorceress not to say that. When he was depressed after getting fired from Golden Hawk, Lillian was the one who helped him. Laurent wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for her. Together, Guardians of the Magic Tree and Spirit Arsenal will build the best future. Lillian stares fondly at Laurent. She'll strike a counterattack for this hope he has given her and make it to the top. Together, they'll defeat Golden Hawk. Laurent and Linga walk back to the workshop. With the weapon order delivered, their job is done. But this also marks a new beginning. From now on, they have a battle to win. When Laurent arrives at Spirit Arsenal, Eri greets him, informing him they have a guest. She seems to be an elf. Hearing that makes the guild master sprint to his office. He couldn't do anything last time, but certainly this will be his chance to help Xiao. However, behind Laurent's office door isn't the alchemy genius, but her mother, Sills. The woman apologizes for the sudden visit and what happened with him and her husband. Laurent smiles gently and says she has nothing to say sorry for. But Sills knows it's the right thing to do, especially when she's here today to ask the skill appraiser a favor. She wants to order weapons from Spirit Arsenal, as they're necessary for them to never go through the horrors of the past. Laurent understands that much. However, why would the elves want to order weapons from him? Sil's expression softens as she lowers her gaze. Their family's business isn't doing well, so they have little money, but they remain in a dangerous position without weapons. So they must acquire them by all means. Admittedly, Sills and the others came to this town to obtain gear. She knows her request may be inappropriate, considering the trouble Laurent went through when they first met. but Sills begs him to accept their request. Understanding the situation, the guild master asks for the order details and their budget that he reviews. The paper Sills pushes forward as she says this is their limit. But judging by these numbers, Loran can't do even 50% of the order with this little money. Though the guild master apologizes to Sills, he's racking his brains for anything he can do to help. And that's when Zhao's face flashes in his mind. If they let Loran hire her, Spirit Arsenal might be capable of meeting their order within this budget. Sills remains staring at her lap. She can't make such an important decision without her husband. With that, the woman stands and apologizes for her unreasonable request. Yet again, Loran couldn't do anything for Zhao or her family. 7 uneventful days pass, but the guildmaster can't forget what happened. Even when he drowns himself in all the guild work, Zhao and her family are at the back of his mind. Before Lawrence's thoughts consume him, Eri enters his office to remind him of his appointment. The skill appraiser hurries to the meeting place and apologizes to Lillian for being late. Once Lawrence all settled, the sorceress gets to the point. Would Spirit Arsenal be interested in purchasing silver ore? They've mined plenty in the dungeons recently. However, Goldenhawk has monopolized all the alchemists capable of manufacturing silverware. This talk of silver ore only reminds Loran of Zhao, and his pained expression doesn't go unnoticed by the sorceress. Lillian has noticed that Loran has a habit of overthinking things, but she understands where it's coming from. Proceeding when you're afraid of failure is difficult. However, unlike before, Loran is no longer alone. The talented people he has nurtured have all grown into strong beings. Like them, Loran can go for what he desires to do, just like that little girl. Lillian stands as Zhao arrives. She and Loran can talk about business at their next meeting. For now, the sorceress hopes he'll help the little girl, just like how he helped her. Lillian encourages Zhao to tell Loran what she came here for before leaving the two to talk. With a bow, the elven girl greets the skill appraiser. She's here to ask him a favor. After hearing Count Elson would be holding a silverware fair, she couldn't just stand and let the opportunity go by. Zhao loves crafting silver so much. That's why she begs Loran to help her become a great silversmith. Hearing no reply, Zhao peers at the skill appraiser as she keeps her head bowed. Does his silence mean no? Loran apologizes. He should have gone to talk to her rather than the other way around. When he learned about Zhao's past, Loran hesitated, doubting she'd enjoy working as an alchemist. But how could she not be happy? Zhao loves alchemy. She wants to dedicate her life to it. Even before, Loran understood that was the girl's wish, that he could see it in her eyes. Yet he hesitated and pretended not to have noticed. That ends now. Loran will convince Zhao's father. So from here on out, they'll cooperate and make silverware together. The skill appraiser promises to help Zhao become a great silversmith. When Loran arrives with the elven girl at the workshop, he's ready to discuss future expenditures with Linga. The workshop manager is more than happy to do so. After all, Spirit Arsenal is well-funded thanks to his efforts. But as Linga reviews Lawrence's request, his smile falters. This is a lot. Is this all for the girl? The guild master introduces Zhao as their new silversmith. Scratching his head, Linga guesses nothing he says can change Lawrence's mind. So, he'll do what he can to buy everything needed and remodel the workshop. If anything, Linga assures the guild master that he can count on him. With that settled, Loran and Zhao can get to work. The skilled workshop manager doesn't take long to find a suitable new workshop for their guild. He even arranges for the place to be filled with flowers, a perfect environment for their new silversmith. Coincidentally, Spirit Arsenal's neighbors and the people Linga ordered the flowers from are none other than Sills and Ijua. Thanks to the massive order, they have enough to cover their weapon costs for this month. They just have to go over and thank them. A guild worker welcomes the elven couple, guiding them inside the building. But looking around, Ijua and Sills can't believe this place is a workshop, with its beautiful architecture and the blossoming flowers adorning every corner. The guild worker opens the door to one of the workshop's rooms, only to reveal the elven couple's daughter practicing alchemy. Zhao immediately apologizes to her father. She requested a job at Spirit Arsenal because of her love for crafting silver. Ijua can't help but feel betrayed by his daughter. How could she? But Zhao stands her ground. She knows her father deeply cares for her. However, she won't relinquish her dream of becoming a silversmith. Zhao will pursue her passion even if her father disagrees with it. Ijua turns to Loran, commending how perfectly he arranged the workshop to suit elves. Though he doesn't appreciate the surprise, Izua can't think of a better place for his daughter to work and it took quite an effort from Loran, Linga, and Spirit Arsenal. But Xiao has finally gained her father's permission to go after her dream. With everything set for the new silversmith, Loran officially introduces her to the rest of Spirit Arsenal. Xiao stands before the guild members, filled with boundless enthusiasm. She may look young, but she has unique talents, just like everyone here. Next on the guildmaster's agenda is receiving important reports that a guild member raises his hand, informing Loran he has finished making an A-class weapon. Its attack ability allows it to destroy anything, but there's one major drawback. The weapon will be shattered after delivering a powerful blow. In light of this, the worker promises to enhance the weapon's endurance next time. Loran doesn't blame the worker for encountering such a big disadvantage that A-class items are difficult to produce, and that's where Zhao's product design skill can shine. The guild master and the silversmith move to a room furnished as a classroom. Though talented, Xiao must be nurtured to the fullest to unlock her true potential. And that's what all these books on product design are for. Loran will even learn with her to effectively handle this part of the production. As instructed, Xiao opens the red-covered book that she's unsure if she'll have what it takes to learn from textbooks. But to the elven girl's surprise, the contents are easy to learn, and that's enough to motivate Xiao to study as much as possible. The day went on uneventfully, with the skill appraiser and the silversmith learning what they could about product design. But everyone has their limits, including Xiao. Thankfully, Aries here to the rescue. While she escorts the girl outside to take a break, Loran marvels at how much Xiao has already studied. The next day, the skill appraiser instructs the silversmith to study the blue-covered book. Her enthusiasm hasn't waned, and it shows in her full marks. Xiao has proved she's ready to practice the concepts they've been learning. Loran instructs the silversmith to draw an A-class bow design. Rest assured that she'll have his full support. If Xiao needs help with anything, just let Loran know. The silversmith asks for a few high-ranking designs for reference. But the guild master returns with a big stack of them. Xiao knows he must have spent a lot to buy these confidential blueprints from other workshops, so she must do her best to finish her A-class bow design, thus marking the beginning of the silversmith toiling over her task. Xiao spends days and nights trying to perfect the design. One night, on her way to sleep after an unsuccessful day, she hears voices from the guildmaster's office. Ling is furious as he wonders if Lawrence lost his mind. What he's asking is impossible for Spirit Arsenal to fulfill. 50 A-rank bows for 1,000,000 gold is unreasonable. Are they seriously going through all this trouble just to keep Xiao working for the guild? Overhearing everything, the elven girl runs to her room as guilt consumes her. Loran and the guild are going through tough times all because she wants to become a silversmith. The guild master runs after Xiao, apologizing for what she heard, that he hopes she doesn't misunderstand. The price for those weapons was his suggestion. Her parents said he didn't need to go through that much trouble, but Loran insisted. He's certain Xiao can hone her talents in time to help them deliver the weapon order. Admittedly, Loran has his motives for these things for the elven girl as an appraiser. He swore he'd help all the talented people he could find to become the best. Loran once broke that promise by ignoring her in the beginning, but he won't repeat that mistake. All Xiao has to do now is enjoy alchemy work. After saying his piece, Loran wishes the elven girl a good night. The next day, the silversmith rises from her slumber with renewed strength as she greets Ling a good morning. The workshop manager apologizes. But Xiao knows he was simply doing his job. She was so indulged in pursuing her dream that she never considered how much trouble she brought to the guild. Xiao wants to contribute to the guild just like everyone else. That's why she promises to do her best. She just needs a little more time. One day, Xiao will repay everyone's favors as a member of Spirit Arsenal. The silversmith carries this spirit in her heart as she enters her workroom. She promises she'll become Spirit Arsenal's S-rank alchemist. Xiao crumples the paper with her latest bow design, knowing she can do better. Soon, piles of rejected designs fill her workroom. But the elven girl's determination remains burning brightly. Outside the workroom, Eri and Linga voice their worries about Xiao to Loran. Isn't she pushing herself too hard? But for now, they can only be patient and support her in any way they can. Later that day, Loran checks on the silversmith just in time to review her design's progress, that it's perfect so far. But it's a design no one in Spirit Arsenal can make. After all, the guild is still in its infancy. To follow Zhao's design, they'd need a highly skilled craftsman.so. For the bow design to be usable, it must only require B-rank skills. Xiao immediately thinks of a solution. She'll simplify the base while maintaining the required materials. That way, they can gather the materials while she works on the final design. Laurent smiles in agreement, and not long after, he has a materials list ready to submit to the workshop manager. After reviewing the paper, Linga's face falls. The price for minerals has increased to triple the normal price. They'll be way over the budget if they follow this list. But Linga has an idea that he'll obtain the ores himself within 5 days. During that time, Laurent will take care of managing the workshop. And when Linga sets his heart on a task, he does it immediately. 5 days fly by fast, with Laurent, Ling, and Xiao doing their part in ensuring the weapon order is met. The silversmith submits her design suitable for Spirit Arsenal's workshop capacity. And with that, she can finally rest on the way to her room. Xiao crosses paths with Ling, who's looking a little worse for wear. You can't blame him when he's been mining away for 5 days straight. The elven girl soon realizes the workshop manager went through all that trouble because of her. But before Xiao can apologize, Linga acknowledges how hard she works. That's why he's motivated to do his best and help her. And just like that, the workshop manager and the silversmith have made up, finding sibling-like fondness for one another. Now, it's time for Eri to do her part of the job. The A-rank refiner takes the bag of ores to the furnace. The determined look on her face doesn't falter as she works on block after block. The day finally comes for everyone in Spirit Arsenal to show the fruit of their efforts proudly. Ijua and Sills look on in awe. They can't believe they doubted the guild's capabilities. Of course, Laurent knows they wouldn't have succeeded without Zhao's effort. Ijua smiles fondly at his daughter before confirming he has received 50 A-rank bows. Though he's a lower merchant, even he can tell without inspecting the weapons that these are indeed A-rank. After thanking Laurent and Xiao, Ijua arranges to depart immediately. He can't wait to show everyone these new bows. Sat on the perch, Ijua says a few more words before leaving that he thanks Laurent for discovering his daughter's talent and teaching her so well. Spirit Arsenal has his gratitude. With that, Ijua departs, leaving his daughter in Laurent's care. Later that day, the skill appraiser accompanies Xiao around town. She spotted a shop displaying so much silverware. One piece in particular catches the elven girl's eyes, a silver platter. Xiao can't help but wonder who made it. Laurent concurs that it's a very well-made piece, and the one who made it is Dorwin, he'll be Zhao's biggest rival in the silverware contest. Hearing this news shocks the elven girl. She asks to be alone for a moment before walking away from the shop front. Yes, she does. Laurent wonders if he shouldn't have told her about Dorwin. But what good would that have done? She'll have to face her rivals and opponents sooner or later. And Laurent believes she should know of them as early as possible. Still, with how skilled Xiao is, the skill appraiser sometimes forgets she's still a kid. Has he been pushing her too much? Laurent heads over to where the elven girl went and finds her sitting at the end of an alley. Zhao's so lost in her thoughts that she doesn't seem to hear the skill appraiser approach or call her name. But when she does respond, a big smile graces her features. Eyes shining brightly, Xiao exclaims how fascinating the silver platter is. She had never seen such a beautiful design before. Relief washes over Laurent as he looks at the elven girl. It seems there's no need to worry about her. Xiao enjoys herself even when she'll certainly face a big challenge. That's how much she loves alchemy and crafting silver. She's such a wonderful kid. Dreaming about the future, Xiao is determined to produce great works like that one day. She can't wait for her works to be displayed in town. Hearing her hopeful voice makes Laurent's heart sink. He's sorry to say this, but he's certain no one in this town will buy silverware from Spirit Arsenal. Instead of disappointment, Xiao smiles in understanding. She doesn't even need to hear the reason for this. To make silverware is delightful enough for her. And in any case, Xiao sees Spirit Arsenal's situation as something temporary. She'll wait for things to turn around. It's bound to happen. Laurent doesn't share the elven girl's optimism and instead apologizes again. But Xiao insists he doesn't need to worry. After walking around town more to look at silverware, the skill appraiser and the silversmith take a break on a park bench. Yes, they do. The elven girl can't help but notice she's the only one having fun. Is Laurent alright? The skill appraiser doesn't lift his gaze as he tells Xiao his story. Not long before he worked in Golden Hawk, the best guild in this town. After being fired, Laurent established Spirit Arsenal. This new guild's goal is to defeat Golden Hawk. However, as the best and biggest guild, Golden Hawk has monopolized all businesses in town. That's why even if Xiao can make the best silverware, there's no guarantee anyone will buy it. On the other hand, if she leaves Spirit Arsenal, she'll immediately find a better job. That's how talented Xiao is. But the elven girl pouts upon hearing Laurent's explanation. Didn't she tell him she'll wait? Mind you, Xiao's good at waiting cause she's an elf. And doesn't Laurent understand that it'd be meaningless for her to work as a silversmith if it isn't in Spirit Arsenal? After all, Xiao is making silverware to return Laurent's favor that he helped persuade her father to allow her to become an alchemist. Laurent stayed up late preparing lessons to nurture Xiao's talents. After doing so much for her, why would he think she'd leave that easily? Everything Laurent has done has helped Xiao pursue what she loves to do, that she's really grateful for that. So, as an alchemist in Spirit Arsenal, Xiao will do her best to make silverware suitable for Laurent's efforts. She'll craft silver pieces that can bring people happiness. Though Xiao is inexperienced, she promises to become the best alchemist in this town. Xiao asks Laurent to tell her more about various things, and he agrees. Then the girl offers to see the rest of the city. The hero stands up, and they're on their way walking all over the city. Then they return to the workshop. Eri greets them. She asks how the market research went. Xiao says it was a lot of fun and educational. Eri says she is very happy for her. Xiao says she's learned a lot, and now all that remains is to put all the knowledge together. After that, Xiao goes to rest. Eri tells Laurent that it looks like they did a good job. Then she asks him if something is wrong. Laurent says he needs to discuss something with them, and he asks her to call Lang. In his room, he gathers Lang and Eri and apologizes for interrupting their work. Lang asks what happened, and Laurent says that the future of the Arsenal of Spirits needs to be discussed. He says that at the moment they have no clients other than the guardians of the magic tree. Laurent says that in order to improve the situation, he decided to take part in a silverware competition organized by Count Elson. Lang says that the competition is good advertising, but he is worried about profit. Laurent says that's what we're going to talk about. He says that the Golden Hawk does not yet know that they can produce a scraft. Laurent says that suspicion fell on their own alchemist guilds, and as a result, they were ordered to stop all processing. Now they can only provide themselves with B-rank silver, and the Arsenal of Spirits has a rank silver. Lang says that if they win, there may be a big order. Laurent says that this will greatly simplify their task. The hero also says that they have a jeweler with S-rank talent on their side. Laurent says that he understands that it is not profitable and will have to work hard. The hero clenches his fists. He asks his comrades to help him defeat the Golden Hawk. Lang says he will start calculating the budget. Laurent understands that the guild members are on his side. Lang says he doesn't think they can afford it. He begins to think about the worst options, to which Ali tells him that whatever he comes up with, Kyle won't like it. Laurent thanks his comrades for their support. Lang says they haven't even done anything yet. He tells Laurent to tell them that when they defeat the Golden Hawk, Lang suggests to transgress already. Laurent says it's worth talking to their ace first. He walks into Kyle's room. She asks what Laurent wanted to talk to her about. He replies that he wanted to talk to her about the same thing. The girl happily asks if he wanted to talk about the fair. The hero tells Kyle that she will have to compete with the Golden Hawk in this competition. The girl asks Laurent not to worry, saying that she will cope. She says she understands that the enemy is strong, but she is confident that by working with all the members of the Arsenal of Spirits, she will be able to defeat even the most powerful guild. So she asks Laurent to trust her. Kyle says it's her turn to support them now. The girl says that even with a reduced budget and recycling, she will definitely win. Kyle offers Laurent a whitewash. Lang says that first you need to decide what they will produce. Ali says that we need to decide as soon as possible because there is no time to think. Kyle says she has a good idea then. She says she wants to make a product related to the name of the workshop. Lucius calls Jill to him. He thanks her for successfully capturing the dungeon, that he also says that he has heard a lot about her exploits. The head of the guild praises the girl, making her blush. He says how easy she is to handle everything. The man says that she can be relied on unlike others. Then he asks her not to take it into her head. Lucius suggests we talk about business, that he hands the girl a piece of paper with a description of the task, saying that this is exactly the job they deserve. Jill is slightly shocked by what she has read. Lucius asks her if she has heard about the fair, that he says that Jill is honored to be there to present their jewelry to the bride. Jill asks if this is not the duty of a jeweler. Lucius replies that it won't do. He says that the fair will attract a lot of people, both locals and visitors. These are ideal conditions for advertising their guild. He asks if they really have to let an alchemist who stinks of smoke and is dirty from soot go on a pedestal. The girl objects, saying that it is his merit. Lucius says that no matter what efforts he has made, only the result is important. Jill objects, saying that the head of the guild is trying to get results by despising the one who makes the effort. Lucius doesn't understand what she's talking about. For him, effort is an excuse for those who cannot achieve success. He says that only those who can achieve a specific result deserve to be rewarded. Jill asks if she can get her reward then. Lucius answers in the affirmative, asking what she wants. The girl demands to return the appraiser Laurent to the guild. Lucius looks at her with contempt. He asks her why she is so obsessed with Laurent. Jill replies that she cannot reach her true potential without him. Lucius asks what she's even talking about. He asks Jill if she didn't achieve everything because of her talent. The girl answers in the negative and is about to say something else. Lucius interrupts her. He says that even if he wanted to, he would not be able to bring Laurent back because it would have a bad effect on his authority. Jill objects, saying that he has many achievements. Lucius replies that Laurent was expelled because he had no achievements. He says that this topic is closed. Lucius asks Jill to think about some other reward. The girl slams the door loudly, saying that she has business. Lucius realizes that Jill still cannot be trusted and that the composition of the elite squad will need to be reviewed. He says that Laurent still continues to cause problems. The action is transferred to the workshop of the Arsenal of Spirits. Kyle is working on a new piece of silverware. Manga manages the extraction of ore and Ollie processes it. Kyle is trying harder and harder. She again directs all her efforts to create a product. Laurent attentively watches the work of his comrades. Then he looks at the finished product. He asks Kyle if it worked out. The girl replies that it's a failure again. She says the product was supposed to work as an artifact, but it didn't work out. Kyle says it cracked when she tried to put magic in. She apologizes for the damaged materials. Laurent says the silver is running out, and so are the deadlines. He also says that at this rate, you will have to go to the silverware fair with an ordinary product. Kyle asks to give her another chance. She says the situation is critical, but a simple piece of silver will not help against the work of that master. The girl says that of course they have almost no time or materials left, but if they succeed, she is sure that they will be able to surpass him. Kyle says that the Arsenal of Spirits will definitely win. Laurent says he will try to raise money for another attempt. Manga asks to provide it to him. Ollie offers to work together until the end. The hero says they have to give it their all in the last attempt. Laurent thinks that everyone is working hard. Everyone is trying to give their best. Kyle asks that the spirits give her their blessing for the sake of these beautiful people. The girl opens her eyes. In front of her, she sees a finished, perfect silver product. Ollie admires his beauty. She finally understands what the girl wanted to do. Kyle says it was exactly what she wanted, a silver piece from the Arsenal of Spirits. The action is postponed to the day of the silverware fair. The heroes approach the beautiful fair gates. Kyle is surprised, and the hero looks at them with determination. Kyle says it's amazing and looks like a festival. Laurent looks at the girl with concern. Kyle asks if her work will be evaluated here. She clutches a box with a product in her hands. Laurent turns to her. He says there are a lot of people here in a huge playground. You can already see jewelers with their products. Laurent says the event is solid, and no wonder Kyle is worried. The girl looks at all this with excitement. Laurent says you shouldn't worry so much. He says she will not yield to these silversmiths. Laurent gives Kyle the floor on this matter. The girl turns to him. He asks her to remember how she worked all this time. He asks her to remember Ollie and Lang, all their employees. All of them, like Kyle herself, gave their best. Laurent says that's the only reason this job turned out. He asks her not to be nervous, and everything will be fine. Laurent says they did everything they could with the whole guild. Now he asks her to proudly demonstrate the creation of the Arsenal of Spirits. The girl squeezes the box even harder, and determination appears in her eyes. Laurent tells Kyle to go ahead, as this will be the debut of the future S-ranked jeweler. They're starting to go toe-to-toe. The boy, holding a flag in his hands, shouts that the jeweler's reception desk is here that he asks to keep the queue. Laurent and Kyle approach the reception desk. The man behind her says that if they want to register as participants, then they need to hand over the work and name the master. Kyle puts the product on the counter and says it's her job. The man looks at the provided product with surprise and admiration. Laurent says that this product was provided by the Guild Arsenal of Spirits. The master is Kyle Cotton. The man says that the registration is completed. He also says that now they only have to wait. Behind the backs of the heroes, the townspeople are talking about a book. Suddenly, the silhouette of a girl appears. She says she's finally found someone. She calls out to Laurent and Kyle as they walk. Laurent turns around and sees Jill crying in front of him, who immediately throws her arms around his neck. Laurent asks what she is doing here. The girl says that she missed him all this time. Jill says she's finally found him and squeezes the guy so hard that sweat stands out on his forehead. The girl says that since they haven't seen each other for a long time, she got worried. Laurent says he's heard that Jill is avoiding him. Suddenly, a rather simple truth dawns on him. The hero realizes that Lucius was bluffing and wanted to expel Laurent quietly. Kyle runs up to Laurent, asking if he's okay. Jill stands in shock at what she has done. She immediately begins to apologize to the hero, and Kyle dusts him off from the dirt, asking if he is really alright. Jill says that a disgusting student like her would never do such a thing. Laurent calms her down, saying that he is actually glad to see her. Jill asks if the hero doesn't dislike her, that he answers in the negative. The girl asks why Laurent left the guild. She says that she has been worried about this for a long time. Jill asks if the other guild members have done something to him. She says that if this is not the case, then she wants him to return to the guild. Jill says that she needs Laurent and that she is going nowhere without him. She begs him very much to come back. Laurent looks at her sadly. Suddenly, Lucius appears behind them, that he asks what they're doing here. Laurent is not very happy to see the head of the guild. He says they haven't seen him for a long time. Jill asks why Lucius is here. He says that he asked the question. Lucius asks Jill if she has forgotten about her role, that he says that she will have to hand over their jewelry to the bride. Lucius asks her if talking to enemies is more important than the interests of the guild. He says that if she understood everything, then they need to go to prepare. Lucius begins to lead the girl away. Laurent calls out to Lucius. He turns around and asks that he said something. Laurent asks why the hell he was lying to him. The hero says he's talking about Jill right now. Laurent says that Lucius said that no one in the guild needed him. Laurent asks if the head of the guild really wanted to kick him out so badly. Jill turns to Lucius and asks what it means. Lucius tells Laurent to stop being so paranoid. Laurent grimaces and is about to say something. But Lucius interrupts him, that he asks what he's offended about. The man says that the hero was kicked out because of incompetence. He asks if he has already forgotten about his statistics. Does he need to revoice these figures? Lucius tells Laurent to be ashamed because he, being incompetent, blames others for everything. He says that if the hero wants to work as a nanny, then he should go somewhere else. Laurent says that's enough for him then. Lucius asks if he's really resigned. Laurent says there is no point in talking to Lucius, but this does not mean that he will sit idly by. Laurent says that he chose a way to fight Lucius. The man does not understand what the hero is talking about. Laurent replies that this is exactly what he wanted to say. He says that the Arsenal of Spirits will beat the Golden Hawk in this competition. Lucius approaches Laurent. Laurent tells him that it's useless to scare him. He won't back down anyway. The hero says that he has something to protect, and he has comrades who support him. He says there's nothing else they have in common with Lucius. Lucius tells Laurent that he said it himself. The head of the guild asks if Gillis has hurt him. He says, pointing at Laurent, that he is their enemy. Gillis thinks this is some kind of joke. Laurent asks the girl for forgiveness. He says he's sorry he couldn't talk to her properly. Laurent says he is no longer on his way with the Golden Hawk. Gillis says it's a lie. She asks him to say that this is not true. Lucius puts his arm around Gillis' shoulders and leads her away. Then he turns around, asking Laurent if he wants to say anything else. He says that he promises to win this competition. He says that when this happens, Lucius will have to think about what he has done. Lucius says how such a small guild can have so much arrogance. Laurent tells Lucius not to always think that way, as they will soon reach the top. Lucius starts laughing at him, that he says it's not harmful to dream. The man says that, at best, the hero will watch the celebration of the victory of the Golden Hawk from the very bottom of the stage. Laurent says that he hopes that Lucius knows how to hide envy in his eyes, that if not, then he should practice. Lucius says it's starting to annoy him. He's taking Gillis with him. Laurent turns to Kyle, apologizing to her. He calls her to go. The hero thinks that they will definitely win at this exhibition. The speaker announces the start of the silverware fair with the support of Count Elson. He says that the masters of the whole world will compete to have their work recognized as the best. The speaker asks the question of who will win, because the pride of many masters is at stake, that he announces the start of the silverware competition.